Hello YouTube, just let me yap for a second. This video took forever to make. It feels like this is the longest I've ever worked on one YouTube video, and it turned out kind of meh. So even if you find yourself bored, please at least take some time to skim over the whole thing, because I worked really hard on this. This took forever. I bit off a little bit more than I'm prepared to chew at the moment in my content creation career, or whatever you want to call it, but yeah. This is a computer that I built for around the price of a PS5, a few games, or your subscriptions, and it destroys it. Enjoy. So, like always, let's start with our motherboard. This is the ASRock B550M ITX-AC. I had to pay $105 for this motherboard, which is not a deal. This board is actually normally $100, but it was on sale for $85, and then I had to pay $20 in shipping because it was on Newegg. I could have gotten a board for cheaper, but I made sure to get something with a B550 chipset, so that way I would have PCIe Gen 4. And this board does have built-in Wi-Fi, which is another thing that I really wanted. Let's go ahead and open it up. Pretty standard motherboard packaging, just some notices, whatever, you know, all the warranty info, and quick installation guide, which we do not need. We get a couple of SATA cables, our Wi-Fi antenna, only one. Oh, there's the other one. All right, Wi-Fi antennas, and our I/O shield. And the motherboard is going to be in here, I assume. So pull that off. There we go. Wow, it's so small. It's pulled out of the bag. There we go. It was on a little piece of foam, which stayed in there. Now with our board out, we can go grab our CPU, Ryzen 9 5900X, which I managed to snag for $157, because these CPUs are generally over $200 on eBay, so this is a deal. There we go. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and get to our RAM. Let's open up our slots, and let's talk about my RAM choice. I got two 16 gig sticks of some DDR4, 3200 megahertz RAM, and I got these for $50. These are worth more than twice that right now. These were quite a steal, and you would probably have trouble recreating that deal right now, but yeah, got a really good deal on these. There we go. Alright, now let's go ahead and talk about our NVMe drive. This right here is a 500 gig NVMe drive, and yeah, I believe this is PCIe Gen 3, which is still perfectly fine. And I got this drive for $40. Alright, now let's go ahead and plop our cooler on the CPU and plug in a power supply and do a test boot. Oh wait, no, I need to show you the GPU that I got. Here we go. This is a RTX 4070 that I managed to snag for $300 locally. This deal would be very hard to recreate, probably the hardest of every deal in the video. But yeah, so I'm going to do the classic trick of the motherboard box PCIe bracket. These little bits into the seam of the box right there. Oh shoot, I forgot the CPU cooler. This is the Thermalright Assassin X90 SE V2. I got this CPU cooler for $20, and that's just market value. So even though that's technically not a deal under MSRP or anything, it's still at a really good price. Let's go ahead and get this box open. So you'll notice here that this is quite the small fan, because this cooler is rather small. And that may seem kind of, you know, weird considering that we have a 5900X in this build. But for one, that CPU doesn't pull a whole lot of power. Most AM4 CPUs don't. And also for air cooling, this is the tallest cooler that I can fit in there. And to do water cooling on that case is actually designed for external water cooling, and I'll show you how that works, but we're not doing that today. So this is the biggest air cooler that I can fit in there, and it should do perfectly fine. There we go. Alrighty, a successful post. So let's go ahead and get this thing shut off. And get the motherboard put into the case and everything. This is gonna be fun. Alrighty, now I gotta get the case all pre-managed already. Tight fit, looks like. Oh goodness. How do I get the motherboard in? Yeah, there's like no extra space when you're trying to get your motherboard in this guy. Good lands. We're in. Well, I guess that's that. Now we get to find out if this case used big thread or small thread for the motherboard standoffs. I'm gonna take a stab at small thread. I just can't find any small thread screws. I did record a bunch of cable management and stuff, but it is not a very enjoyable watch. It was just a pain in the butt. So yeah, I'm gonna skip over that and just kind of dump you right after all that stuff. Alrighty, now with my hands all nice and clean, washed to the point of becoming wrinkly, I realized that I forgot my case fans, which I'm going to put up top. So, they're nothing special, but they're necessary. These Okonos Hurricane 12s, they came with that case, and as you can see, they got replaced. And so I'm going to value these at $15, which is pretty regular computer fan price. Alrighty, this is going to be the system's first ever boot up as a completed enclosed computer. Dude, heck yeah. This thing honestly really doesn't look bad at all. You can see my phone more than the computer, that's fine, but yeah. Alrighty, now we get to do all the fun stuff. Alright, so since my capture card doesn't want to work for the life of it, I'll just show you with the camera. This is MemTest. I've never used this specific MemTest. I'm used to like the screen being blue and you just boot it up and it immediately starts a test, but on this one I had like a graphical menu and I had to select a test. So we're running MemTest and I'll come back to you guys once this is done. And I have a new capture card on the way. This thing freaking sucks. It's such a headache. And I think it just stopped working. Hold on. Let me plug the display cable. Yep, okay, the HDMI cable came unplugged here. So I guess that's not the capture card's fault. But yeah, like as you can see over here, we're getting no output. Like that's the only option for the capture card and there's no output. I am really, really frustrated, but I bought a new one, so can't wait. Spam the delete key. There we go. Let's see what frequency our RAM is running at, because we do have some high frequency RAM in this guy. We can see our 5900X 32 gigs of RAM running at 3200 megahertz. Heck yeah, dude, we're all set up. Alrighty, now we just need to get a Windows installer plugged in, and yeah. Alrighty guys, let's finally get Windows installed, and as you can see here, I got a new capture card. It actually has a no signal screen now. That's quite advanced, isn't it? I have trauma from my previous capture card. Go ahead and get this guy booted up and get Windows installed. Actually, hold on. Before I get it booted up, I'm going to unplug all of the extra drives. Alrighty guys, now we're actually ready to install Windows. So let's go ahead and get this guy booted up. Alrighty, nice. The capture card is working perfectly. This is great. Windows 11 Pro, because I'm cool like that. And there we can see our drive, so we're just gonna hit next on that, John, and we're installing Windows. Now I just get to leave this thing to its install. Oh nice, this install is going quickly. There we are, we're booted up. That was a incredibly fast Windows install. That was insane. This motherboard has to have USB 3.2 on whatever port I just plugged in, because that was actually like one of the fastest Windows installs I've ever experienced. That's a proper USB 3.2 Windows install. So that was really nice. the only systems that I've had that were that fast were like my main rig that has like a modern B850 board and a 7950X, so. There we go, we're all nice and booted up. No need for a password. This capture card is handling the fact that we're probably getting like a 4x3 resolution piped into it really well. My previous capture card probably would have like changed sizes and completely broken during a situation like this. This is super nice, because this is not a 4K video, even though it's technically set to 4K in OBS. Alrighty, now we're in the big boy Windows. I'm gonna get on my NAS server, because I have a local server, oddly enough, with all of the drivers and stuff that I need for any computer. You guys should seriously do this for yourself. Look at this, I can come into network and of course turn on, you know, file sharing and all that stuff. And then boom, there's my server. I can log in. And there you go, now I have this guy. And boom, all the files that I need. These are actually files for this video. Oof. But yeah, I have this 4 computers folder, come in here. I have all this good stuff. So I have like drivers, and I can come in here. I have drivers for all kinds of stuff. But I'm gonna get the NVIDIA app, Steam, Firefox, Epic Games. Oh my goodness, I think Windows just loaded a default driver. It did. Nice. At least I think it did. Let's find out. Yep. Loaded up a driver. Nice. Alrighty, our Windows install is now active and we're good to go. Probably about time that I go get a proper keyboard and mouse and I'm not using this trackpad combo thingy. This thing is really convenient though for stuff like this. Just doing Windows installs and whatever. And it can actually do fun, cool stuff, like you can lock your computer with it. You can go to your default web browser. Oh shoot. Get off my screen! Alt F4 doesn't work on Microsoft Edge? What about close window? Bro! Stop! Get off my screen! Okay. I hate you. Get off my taskbar. Get off my... There you go. Alright. You can also put your computer to sleep with it. That might not have been the best idea to do right now, actually. But yeah, I'm gonna go get a proper keyboard and mouse now. Bro, come on, Razer. I just plugged in a freaking keyboard. Are you serious? Alrighty, now I get to shut this guy down and plug the other drives back in. I almost forgot to do that. Halfway through plugging the drives back in, I realized that the computer wasn't powered off all the way. But, yeah, they aren't showing up, but that's honestly not really a bad thing. At least not yet. Let's see if they'll show up in disk part. Let's see if they show up. Yeah, they do. Alright. They're just completely wiped. Alright, now let's start downloading some games here. So, I'm going to be doing a network transfer to this computer from my main computer, and my main computer has a 10 gig SFP Plus connection and then a 2.5 gig Ethernet connection onto the switch. So this is more going to be a test of the network port and SATA SSD on this guy. It's going to be a test of that stuff more than anything. Yeah, off my main computer, there's going to be no network bottleneck here. So let's see what we can get. Nice. So let's see how much of our network port we're using real quick. Yeah, we are maxing out that port, so it's good to know that we can get the proper 1 gig speeds. 1 gig isn't incredibly fast, but it is solid by today's standards, and we're getting good speeds on our drive. Alrighty. Alrighty guys, so now I'm going to get into my synthetic tests. So first we're going to run Cinebench, and we're going to watch this CPU's temps. I'm going to start this test. Now, contrary to what TikTok would have you think, anything under like 85 degrees is perfectly fine. And this CPU is supposed to be able to boost to around 4.8 gigahertz, so we'll see what it does. That's odd. It's only going to like 4 gigahertz. It's pulling a lot of power, and the temps aren't getting very high. We're going to go ahead and just see what it scores, and we'll compare it to some stuff online. Now that it's been running for a while, it's starting to, you know, graze that 90 degree range. But I don't think it's going to start to thermal throttle until it hits like 95, because I mean the speeds are staying about the same. So I'm gonna see what it scores, because the guy that I bought it from had a score that he sent me. So I just went through and looked, and he only got it to score like 250 or 300 points higher. So honestly, I don't really see this as a problem. And you can see here, like the cores individually will boost high. Like actually, yeah, that one's at 4.8 gigahertz, so they'll boost high on their own. So honestly, the fact that it'll only do like 4 gigahertz all core really isn't bad at all. You know, even though the CPU isn't like full load, it is pretty crazy. I'm seeing it here like 95 watts, and this itty bitty Thermalright cooler is able to keep it at like 75 degrees. That's fantastic, honestly. That's great. Alrighty, so here I am in 3D Mark. I'm gonna run Steel Nomad just to make sure that our GPU can boost properly. It's supposed to be able to boost to about 2500 megahertz. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't have a score to compare it to. 3D Mark will tell you if your graphics card is scoring low or high, so. Okay, well the GPU boosted well. Alrighty, so now I'm going to go ahead and start benchmarking our games. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to benchmark a game regularly, like just standard, you know, computer benchmark. And then I'm also going to try and target 4K 120 FPS to try to emulate the PS5. And I think this thing is going to be a lot better than the PS5. I think we can keep to max settings and just use upscaling in most cases, but we'll find out. Here we are in CS2. This is not the kind of game that I'd be playing with this thing running at like a PS5, but I do want to do some regular game benchmarks with it. So right now we're at 4K with the Ultra preset going. You can see that our temps are somewhat high. I took the side panel off the case to try to help it, and I think that these temps are perfectly fine. So you can see that we're getting about 100 to 130 FPS. We're getting highs way up high. Those are odd. And our lows generally aren't going under 80 from what I can see, which is pretty good. Alright, now we're going to be a little bit more reasonable here with our settings. Hopefully I don't get killed while I'm in here. Let's try dropping to 1440p here with the Ultra preset. There we go, getting the proper high refresh rate experience of 300 FPS. We're still GPU bound, it seems, oddly enough. The CPU is really carrying us up high, which is awesome. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and drop all of our graphics settings way down, and let's just see, you know, how high we can get with some proper competitive settings, so, you know, low preset. Let's see what we get. Wow, now we're up into nearly 400 FPS. No reason to complain about this in the slightest. This is awesome. I mean, obviously it's gonna run great. It's a little esports game, but yeah. Alright, that's enough for CS2. Alrighty guys, here we are in Cyberpunk 2077 getting like 45 FPS. I have no clue what settings it loaded us up in by default. Let's go look. So yeah, we are in proper 4K. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Ray Tracing Ultra is a bit optimistic here. So what I want to do is, instead of how we did it with CS2, where I kind of started at the top and then worked my way down. Oh. Instead of, you know, working my way down, I want to start from the bottom and work my way up. So I am going to do 1080p native, like the Ultra preset, as you could just see, right? I'm going to go to Ultra, and then just turn off upscaling. No ray tracing, and we'll see what it does here. If we're getting a solid like 80 FPS, a bit underwhelming, I guess. But yeah, we aren't at full GPU utilization though. So, which this game is incredibly CPU intensive, so I'm not going to blame that on the CPU at all. Why don't we just go ahead and bump it up to 1440p since we've got a 4070, and that's a bit more reasonable for a card like this. And then yeah, you can see how we did have a pretty, you know, deep CPU bottleneck there because our performance didn't take a huge hit. We only lost like 20 FPS. And now we are at full GPU usage. It is kind of unfortunate though that we're only able to get 60 FPS at native 1440p, and there's a ridiculous amount of screen tearing. Let's go ahead and add a little bit of upscaling to the mix, I guess. Let's try DLSS with the transformer model at the quality preset there. And now we're bumped up to 80 FPS and our screen tearing has gone away. At least for the most part. So yeah, I mean, this experience is perfectly fine. It's just a little bit underwhelming, honestly. I really would have expected more than, you know, a 60 FPS experience here, but I guess they expect you to use a lot of AI garbage to get your stuff way up higher. Now, what is this? Convolutional neural network. Not exactly sure how this one works. It does net us some slightly better performance, it would appear. This is probably the earlier version of it, I guess, that doesn't have all the same RT features. So let's go ahead and try DLSS balanced. I mean, now we're not at full GPU usage anymore, but we are getting, you know, over 80 FPS. I'm a little bit disappointed here, honestly. We can try DLSS frame gen, I guess. Oh, we have to restart the game. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna try the rest of our non-frame gen tests before that. Now that we're not at full GPU usage, let's bump it up to 4K. And see now. This is with DLSS balanced, by the way, and no ray tracing, and we're only able to get like 50 FPS. Or 40 FPS. Yeah, honestly, this is not the fault of the 4070. This game just isn't very well optimized. I mean, let's try very low ray tracing settings, like only ray traced reflections. How did adding ray traced reflections improve our performance? Hold on. We're getting like 50, looking that way. Now we're getting 60. How does that happen? Also, what is up with that shimmering? This is strange. I'm gonna go ahead and reload the game with DLSS frame gen, just out of. I mean, I'm gonna use it. It's whatever. But yeah. So here we are, right back here. All the same settings. We just turned on DLSS frame gen. So now I'm gonna try some presets. So we're gonna run the Ultra preset again. Let's try it with DLSS with the transformer model. Okay, that was a small performance bump. Yeah, I mean, this is playable, and this is definitely better than just running it at 40 FPS. I wonder now. Let's just try not RT Overdrive, but RT Ultra with frame gen. Native, we're getting still like 40 FPS. Huh? Hold on. It's not perfect. Like, there's some artifacts and stuff, but like that doesn't look bad, and we're getting like 80 FPS. It's not exactly as much as I wanted to get. But I mean, I think it's upscaling it much more than quality DLSS though. It's going much lower. Yeah. Because now we can get only 60. Let's go ahead and try balanced. I mean, yeah, it could be much worse. Let's try performance. Oh, that feels so dumb. There's some shimmeriness. I mean, let's see if the reflections still look good. Wow. I mean, they're so meh. Like if I go back to quality, let's see how they look. Yeah, I mean, that's quite a lot better. This might be a 4K 60 experience, or a 4K 50 experience even after frame gen. Wow. I wonder how far it goes when I put it to auto. Like, what do those reflections look like? Yeah, no, it's going really far down. That's crazy. What if I start to kind of raise the sharpness a little bit there? You know what? Yeah, I think I just struck a sweet spot, actually. This actually isn't that bad. I mean, considering that this is like a 4070, I mean, 4K RT Ultra running at after frame gen 80 FPS. I mean, this is very, very playable, especially like on a controller. You know, once I'm loaded up that way, this really isn't going to be much of a problem. I mean, driving really doesn't feel good with it like this, to be honest. Let's go ahead and try, and I might even do this when it's on my TV, as big as that screen is. Let's try 1440p. Still looks great. Okay, it feels a lot better this way. I might do it this way on my TV, honestly. This is actually a really nice experience. I mean, I don't have a high refresh rate monitor here, so I don't even really get the frame gen advantage. But on my TV, that's 120 Hz, so I will actually get to notice it. And you know, you guys will see how I actually feel about it once I get through the console section of this video, which I have not recorded yet, of course. Let's go ahead and move on to the next game. Okay, this one's gonna be really short. This game is honestly kind of pointless to benchmark because this game runs really light. But I am going to be playing this with my computer with my PS5 killer. So we're gonna do 4K max settings here, and yeah. This game, it has VSync that's literally just always on. So I think on my TV it'll let me go high refresh rate, but I'm not sure. We'll find out. But I mean, yeah, proper 4K 60 experience here with absolutely no issues. Because this game was light when it came out in 2017. I love Mud Runner. I will glaze this game till the day I die. It's freaking awesome. Alright, next game already. Alrighty guys, here I am in BeamNG Drive. I'm running it in 4K at the Ultra preset, nothing changed. Hooked up a controller over Bluetooth so we can drive around. We are getting a solid 70 to 80 FPS it seems. About 80 when we were sitting still, but yeah, a solid 70 plus FPS experience here with lows not going under 60, so that's great. So now I'm going to go ahead and just make some regular optimizations that I do with this game. I'm going to turn down the dynamic reflections because they aren't really noticeable when you're actually driving around and stuff. So I'm going to turn off detailed mirrors. I'm not driving in first person. We're going to turn off depth of field. That one's pretty obvious. Then I'm going to turn down the mesh quality to like normal. And I'm going to put shadows visibility to partial. I'm going to set this to FXAA so it looks a little bit better. And now we're seeing a nice little 10 FPS bump it seems. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. A solid 10 FPS bump it seems across the board actually. Now our lows are around 70. Oh, we're getting almost up to 90. So yeah, we got a solid 10 to 20 FPS bump just by doing that. I don't think I'm gonna play this on my TV, but I am gonna leave it on here. Like CS2 I uninstalled after the benchmark, but this game I think I will leave on here, and I might play this. But yeah, this is a great experience in BeamNG. And let's just see, I mean, if I dropped it to 1440p just for the sake of you 1440p gamers out there. Well, yeah, just dropping it to 1440p got us well over 100, nearly doubled our FPS actually. Now we're at like 150 FPS, and it still looks amazing. So yeah, BeamNG is a fantastic experience here. Alrighty guys, so here we are in War Thunder. We are in 4K with DirectX 11 running the movie preset. This is the highest preset in the game. You can do DirectX 12 and add ray tracing, but I found it to be completely pointless. And yeah, we're getting a solid, 150 FPS right there. I mean, looking straight down on the ground, we're getting up almost 200. We'll see how many we get once we're actually in a busy scenario here. Let's see if I do quality DLSS. We're gonna be to the moon. Yep. DLSS in this game does some crazy stuff. So now we're well over 200 FPS. You can get like a 4K 240 hertz experience in this game. You probably have to change your settings a little bit to get proper 240 all the time. But I mean, hey, this is awesome. I'm gonna get this guy because he made me catch on fire earlier. I am gonna drop out of this. I feel bad for my teammates, but you gotta do what you gotta do when you're benchmarking. So for anybody who may have been mad about me using this nice Corsair mouse just straight on a desk, I've got a mouse pad for it now. It's going to our options. Let's see. Yeah, we're running in 1440p. We don't want to do that. We're going to do 4K, no upscaling, ultra preset, and we'll see what kind of performance we can get. And we're getting 40 FPS, and I mean, yeah, that's about what one would expect here. So I mean, honestly, like before I even get past this point, I'm gonna go ahead and use DLSS quality, and we'll see what that bumps us up to. Alright, so even though 60 FPS isn't the best ever, this native 60 FPS does give us the perfect opportunity for what I'm going to do here in a minute. I'm just going to play it like this for a little bit, and we'll see if we get any drops or anything. Oh, dang it, didn't... Dude, no enemies spawned. Goodness. We are experiencing some drops, it seems like, but they're not very noticeable. Wait, is my frame rate capped? How do I... Huh. Oh. Let's turn off VSync. Well, anyway, there we go. Wow. Hold on. That actually... Turning off VSync fixed the frame rate drop, so now we're just at 60 FPS. I think our frame rate's capped. I'm so confused here. Can I... Oh, there we go. Goodness gracious, dude. Wow, never mind. Okay, we're able to get a solid 70 plus FPS experience here in 4K with only DLSS quality. This is a great experience. This is 4K Ultra. That's awesome. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is turn on frame generation. Do I have to restart the game for it to apply? Yeah, I do. Well, what about FSR? Yeah, I still have to restart the game. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and reload the game. Alrighty guys, now we're back in and we're at like 40 FPS. I'm really confused here. So if I come in here into options, I'm still at DLSS quality with the 4K Ultra preset, all that. Is it NVIDIA Reflex that would be lowering my FPS? Hold on. So now I'm at like 80-ish. And then I come on here and turn on Reflex. No, Reflex isn't hurting my frame rate. Oh, and now it's fine again. Okay, I don't know what's going on there. That was weird. I'm just gonna chalk that up to a weird bug. Let's go ahead and bump us back up with NVIDIA DLSS frame generation. Yeah, no, what is happening? Native, I'm only getting like 40 FPS once I turn on frame gen. Yeah, so DLSS frame gen is working, but now our native frame rate only ends up being like 40 FPS once we get that going. Let's try DLSS, oh, let's try balanced. Yeah, we're still only getting like 40 FPS native. That sucks. Huh. Now we're restarted running FSR 3 with its frame generation. And we're seeing a really similar thing happen. Wow, this sucks. What if I do... I know that in this game you can mix match upscalers. So what if I do DLSS with FSR frame generation? We'll do DLSS quality with FSR frame gen. Oh, hey. Wow. Okay, that seems to have given us a decent bump in our performance. Very, very nice. Not really a huge bump, but something. So yeah, I guess that's the way to go, is just to use DLSS as our main upscaler, and then FSR frame gen. I mean, I can always try lowering the settings a little bit, I guess. As if it's gonna... Yeah, it doesn't really help at all on this game. And it is nice getting all the particles of the Ultra preset, so... Let's see if I do DLSS balanced now. Oh, look at that. We're getting over 110, 120, yeah. Alright, so I guess this is the way to go. And hey, this still looks great. I mean, you can barely tell that there's any upscaling going on, so... And I probably am going to play this game with it up on my TV, so I'll let you know how it feels on the TV with a controller and everything, but... This probably looks better than it would on a PS5, and it feels perfectly fine to play, so... Yeah, this will be nice. Alrighty, so here we are in Doom Eternal. I know this is a slightly older game, but I will also test Doom the Dark Ages. I do still play this game, and I'll probably play it while I have this thing hooked up to my TV using it like a console, so I thought I would go ahead and test it out. So we're in 4K at the Ultra Nightmare preset. This is one of those games that, like, you don't have to have a high refresh rate monitor for it to feel amazing, which is always really nice. Let's go ahead and see if I do just enable DLSS quality, what kind of performance I'll get here. And game looks about the same, if not a little bit sharper, actually, oddly enough. And we're getting, you know, over 120 FPS, which is what I would want on my TV, so... Very, very nice. Alright, I'm out of here. Here we are in Doom the Dark Ages, and we are going to start off in 1080p at the Ultra Nightmare preset, with our technical upscaler being TAA, but basically native. And we're able to get a solid 100 to, or about 90 FPS here. Overall, not very many drops, and of those drops, they're not very significant. We're having a very consistent frame rate here. Alright, let's go ahead and see if I bump this thing up to 1440p. What kind of frame rate can I get? Now we're getting a solid 60 FPS experience. Not bad at all. There is some graininess and stuff, which honestly, upscaling might actually be able to help get rid of that shimmering and whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and try some DLSS quality. No frame gen, just quality preset, and let's see what we can get. It's one that helped with the little, you know, weird shimmeriness right there. Overall, the image actually looks better, and we're getting now about 70 FPS. Not really much of a bump, but it does look better. I'm curious now, let's try bumping it up to 4K, because that's my goal for my TV, is to be able to play at 4K. So 4K with DLSS quality, we're getting like 40 FPS. Yeah, that's not going to work. Alright, we might not be able to do max settings 4K. Definitely don't want to try to be doing frame gen from that low of a frame rate. Let's go ahead and see. I'm just going to put the quality to ultra. No, I really can't see a difference, honestly. And I also can't tell a difference in performance, so I guess that's pretty fair. Let's try DLSS balanced. Just whatever I have to do to get up to a 60 FPS experience here. Wow, didn't really help much at all. Anyway, DLSS performance gets us up to 50 FPS. I mean, I'm not seeing any huge artifacts or anything, but playing at performance, I don't know. Doesn't really seem all that worth it to me. Let's go ahead and try the low settings real quick. There we go, we're able to get 60 FPS. And I mean, hey, overall it still looks really, really good, honestly. Like, I mean, I don't want to say it's hard to tell, there's some small differences, but like, I would be more than happy to play like this. And we're up to about 60 FPS, so we can go ahead and try turning on our DLSS frame gen. And now with frame gen, we're able to get a solid 90 FPS experience or so. Our native frame rates are still about 50 to, yeah, it's still about 50 FPS. Some drops under 50, which aren't great, but this still feels perfectly fine. And I think on my TV, when I'm using a controller, I'm not going to be bothered much at all. This game still feels really good. Alright, so here we are in Red Dead Redemption 2. We're going to check out our settings real quick. You can see that we're in 4K, and it automatically picked the balanced quality preset, whatever that means. We are going to turn off VSync, and it is not using any upscaling, so yeah, I guess let's go ahead and just see how it performs. Wow! Getting constant 60 plus, actually 80 FPS, that's really, really nice. And I do believe that this game is a little bit more intensive with the snow and all that kind of stuff. So depending on the time of year that you play this game can change how it runs, I guess. Let's go ahead and see if I bump up to DLSS quality. Still at full GPU usage. Now we're at about 90 FPS. Very, very good experience. I would happily play like this on my TV. Honestly, I don't really feel a need to change much of anything. Now, for those of you who are curious, I will go ahead and drop it to 1440p. We are getting a solid, well, about the same performance actually, about 100 and... Oh no, we got about a 30 FPS jump. Not bad at all. So yeah, this game runs great on this computer. Heck yeah, dude. Here we are in Helldivers 2, we're at 1440p in native with the Ultra Graphics preset. Well, here we get about 90 FPS or so, which is very, very nice. I'm gonna go ahead and try bumping this up to 4K here. See how it performs. Alrighty. And hey, we're still getting a solid 50 FPS, which is not perfect, but hey, still a playable experience on this game. It looks amazing too. Let's try lowering our render scale to ultra quality. Wow, it looks the exact same. Actually, it honestly looks a little bit better. It kind of like smoothed up some jagged lines and stuff. Yeah, this game runs great. And not going to be playing this on the TV though. No way. Alright, I don't think this game has a penalty for dipping. So, I'm just going to dip. Alrighty guys, so here we are in Left 4 Dead. This might seem like an odd game to benchmark, considering that it came out in 2008, I think. But this game actually can be strange to try to get to run, because when you push it to like max settings in 4K, I've seen lots of computers crash with it, even computers that are very modern. I've seen it on both AMD and Nvidia, like my 9070 XT. If I try to run this game in 4K, it'll crash. And when I had a 3070, I saw the same thing. However, I didn't see it when I first got my 3070. So I think that there was something that happened recently where this game's they've stopped caring about games this old, unfortunately. So I'll see if this thing can actually run this game in 4K and not completely crash. Normally what happens is the camera comes down, gets behind whoever I'm playing as, and then it crashes. So yeah, see, I'm getting like 300 FPS, like it's running really easily. You know, it's basically no stress on the system. And it should crash any second now. Oh wow, it's working. I actually expected it to crash wholeheartedly. That's crazy. Hold on. I've got everything like maxed out basically. That's nice. Huh. Oh, and my keyboard doesn't work. Yeah, no, this game is I don't know why they're dropping so much support for it. It's honestly really sad. Okay, I'm gonna give up on this for now, but hey, it's good to know that this game will actually work on this computer, so I can play it in 4K on my TV. Here we are in Star Wars Battlefront 2 at 1440p with the Ultra preset going. As pointless as it may seem to test a game like this, while this game is older and it's gonna run, you know, really well on this computer, no doubt. This is a game that I am going to be playing on my TV, so that'd be nice to test it. As you can see, we're getting nearly 200 FPS all the time. It's a walk in the park for this computer. Oh, good lord. Oh, good lord. I'm already cooked. Ooh. Let's go ahead and try bumping it up to 4K. I mean, it's not going to be a struggle for this computer. Alrighty, and as you can see here, we're still good for a solid, you know, 100 FPS, it looks like 90s. Very, very good experience here. We'll have no problems playing this. Bro, it put me in like right at the end of a game where you were already losing. Are you kidding me? Alrighty, so here we are in Metro Exodus in 4K at the Ultra preset. Getting a solid 80 FPS through this. This is live rendered, but we'll go ahead and get to a point where we actually start playing. Actually, you know, down here in the Metro, we're getting a 70 FPS, it looks like. Very, very few drops below 60. What the heck? What was that? Wanted to play through this game for a very long time, so it'll be nice to finally play through it. Use some upscaling. Yeah, we're on Ray Tracing Ultra. We already do have DLSS quality on, oddly enough. Go ahead and try DLSS Balanced. There we go, we're getting over 80 FPS. Yeah, Metro Exodus is going to be a great experience on this computer. And with this game, that wraps up our benchmarks. Alright, so now I have to try to set this thing up to work like a console. So, you know, I've got it to where I can hook up my controller and stuff. But I want it to, you know, be so I can just hit the power button, turn on my controller, and get right into it. Auto setting in, and then I just have to wait to see if Steam will automatically come up. Honestly, let me go into my Windows startup apps real quick. Oh, hey, there it goes. Nice. I would want it to be a little bit quicker though. Let's see what I can change. What I'm going to do is go to my startup apps, and I am going to disable some of the stuff that I just don't need and don't care about and don't want. So yeah, now like my only startup apps are Steam and Windows Security Notification icon, whatever that means. Hey, that was actually quite a bit faster. That's nice. I am perfectly fine with that. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing set up and hooked it up to my TV. So I can come in here, hit power, and then just, here, wait, oh yeah, turn off system, and it'll actually shut my computer down. Yep, very, very nice. Alrighty, so now all I need to do is just get that guy over there and hooked up to my nice 55-inch OLED. Here we are. Turn on the PC. Turn on the controller. And theoretically, now I just wait. Or no, my TV isn't very smart. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it still thinks there's an Xbox hooked up to it. It actually thinks it's a console. That's funny. I'm gonna go ahead and get this keyboard and mouse plugged in. This little guy, or keyboard and trackpad. Got the console set up. Well, the console. I've got the better than a console set up. I'm gonna use it for a few days, and I'll kind of update you guys on how it's going. But this thing is awesome. Like, seriously. And it's amazing to be able to just hook up a controller and play and still get a, you know, PC level experience. Alrighty, so I'm currently loading up Remnant 2. And let me go ahead and mute the TV real quick. If I just game for a little while, you'll see pretty quickly what the issue is. So now you're starting to be able to hear it. This is actually surprisingly quiet for this computer, oddly enough. But yeah, this is still quite noisy. Listen to that thing. Like, put my phone up to the CPU cooler. Put my phone up to the GPU. Put it up to the power supply. And like, I can feel a lot of like air that's not even actually that hot coming out. I mean, eventually it does get warm, but I'm not really worried about temps. It's just that power supply is crazy. And to help prove that it's just the power supply, right? If the whole computer was getting super toasty, then when I would close a game, after just, you know, a couple of minutes, it would quiet down. So it's, I don't know, 5:12. And let's wait a couple minutes and let's see how loud it is. It's now been a little while. If I actually reach in here and stop the CPU fan, you'll notice that there's like no sound difference. The GPU fans are spinning, but if I stop those, you know, literally no difference. It is pretty much all the power supply now. The GPU fans did just spin up. So I mean, the GPU is not necessarily silent, but a lot of that annoying sound is coming from the power supply. So I'm gonna try to fix that. I really do enjoy this computer though. It's been fun to use. I like it. Alrighty guys, it is now the 22nd. This video is taking way longer than I originally planned. It's way behind schedule, but that's okay. Our little fan finally came in. I can go ahead and do an unboxing. Oh, look at it. It's so tiny, so tiny, so tiny. Alright, now I get to take this guy off. And look at that itty bitty little fan. We get a extension cable, a splitter, all the usual stuff, and yep, the low noise adapter. We get the little stringy mounts that I don't think anybody really uses. We get big boy fan screws, and this little guy right here to help you wire it in to your power supply if that's your plan for it, which is what we're gonna do. So all this stuff can just go back in the box, and I will store it somewhere for safekeeping in case if I ever want that stuff for something else. So yeah, we can finally get this guy over here way quieter. And I have a plan, so that way we can measure how much we actually improved it. Alrighty guys, so I'm gonna test the improvement. I've ran the Steel Nomad stress test for a little while here. And so what I'm going to do is, I've got that mic there, and I'm going to record it. And when I do this, okay, I'm gonna keep my ceiling fan at the same speed that it is already, and I'm just gonna walk out of the room and let it record. And yeah. And then once I get this fan in there, I'm gonna put the mic in the exact same spot, everything the exact same, just with this new fan, and we'll see how much it actually improved. Alrighty guys, I just walked out for a while. Fan noise hasn't changed since I left, so this is our first sample. Alrighty guys, I'm a little bit fearful to do this. I don't like to poke around in power supplies, especially ones like this, which aren't exactly fantastic, because this one's just a little bit sketchy to me. Flex ATX power supplies are always sketchy, but I think these little doohickeys that the power supply comes with are going to help make it a lot easier. So without further ado, here we go. Alrighty. Now this fan should just kind of come up and out. I really didn't want to open this power supply all the way up, but I think I'm gonna have to. Okay. Alright, well, we are in, and I am very scared. So now we just need to cut this cable. There we go. Alrighty. Now we're locked into this job. Now if you ever watch any presentations, I'll talk about how important fan blade count is. And yeah, I mean, they did add 2 extra blades here, so that's got to do something for it. Okay, now, what little I know about electrical stuff here, I know that I've got to kind of twist this around and cut the sheathing so I can pull it off. There we go, now the wires are exposed. Okay. Just like that. Okay, now we're going to unbag this stuff. So you're going to take one of these guys that they give you, and all we should have to do is just red to red, black to black. Alrighty guys, I managed to find some pliers. There we go. Let's go ahead and plug this in. Okay, let's flip on the power. Oh my god. Okay. Let's see if this worked. Oh my god, it worked. Oh my god. Okay. Turn it off. Ooh. Hit the power button to let all the power out. This is the scariest thing I've ever... Oh my god, this is the scariest thing I've ever done for a YouTube video. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Alright, let's go ahead and get everything hooked back up and get booted up and everything. And then we'll get a stress test running. Man, this is crazy. This is one of the coolest modifications I think I've ever done before. Oh no. The fan isn't spinning. We're good. I think I was just pinching something. Alrighty guys, so I've started the Steel Nomad benchmark. I'm going to let it run for a while, and then I will come back to you guys when I start the test. Alrighty, so we've been under load for a little while. Now it seems that pretty much all of our noise is actually just coming from the GPU now, which is pretty interesting. Start our noise test. You can already see though that with the mic in the exact same spot, the noise is quite a lot lower. But yeah, let's go ahead and start recording, and I'm going to step out and let it record for a little while, and then I'll show you guys the back-to-back numbers. Alrighty guys, it's been running for quite a while. Power supply fan is moving plenty of hot air, and yeah. Now, after a little while of gaming, it is definitely far from silent, but a lot better than it was before. And it's quite ignorable now. I have my TV turned way down. It's super late at night, and I do not live alone. But yeah, it's a lot less bothersome like previously. I probably would want to turn my TV up from where it is right now, just because of how loud the computer was. But yeah, this is nice. I am very, very happy with this improvement. Alrighty, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I am ready to not open DaVinci Resolve for at least like 2 weeks now. I am just completely contented out. Like, literally stayed up all night editing the day before Christmas Eve. So yeah, it's actually 8 a.m. on December 23rd right now, because I just spent all night editing. I tried to go to bed and I couldn't, so I just edited literally like all night. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and subscribe. See ya.